that everyone has in common of being here, and it's the question that everybody asks each other, like, how did you end up here? You know, how? What's your story, basically? And so that's something for me that I always really like, because I feel like there's always some insight that I get from seeing how people arrive where they arrive, and where they came from. So a show like Inside the Actor's Studio, I love more for the biography. Okay, I'll see you later. More for the like biography aspect of it, and less for like the actual like acting, acting technique and all that stuff. It's more like it's fascinating for me to see like how people came to be who they are and how they arrived there. And I especially like it when they have comedians in the show. So Inside the Actor Studios had like Conan O'Brien and Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle on there, and like their stories are just fascinating, like absolutely fascinating. Like Chris Rock was literally in line to see Eddie Murphy perform in New York City. Okay, I think it was at Radio City Music Hall. He was in line to buy tickets to see Eddie Murphy perform at Radio City Music Hall, and he had picked up a newspaper, and he looked at the newspaper, and in the newspaper said something about open mic comedy night. And that's the first time that he'd ever thought about it, and he felt some sort of pull at that moment to be like, I'm gonna go check this out. And left the line to watch Eddie Murphy and walked all the way down to where this comedy club was having an open mic, and then showed up there and was like, okay, it's like such a crazy story. So he showed up there ready to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this open mic night thing for comedy. Hello, welcome to making this for a record attempt. Hour something. 29. Jeez. Freaking unbelievable. Okay. So anyway, so Chris Rock literally gets out of the line to buy Eddie Murphy tickets to go to this open mic comedy night thing, and then he shows up and he's literally like, okay, let me just write some jokes while I'm in line here. And then he goes that night, and he said that he gets on stage, and he tells a few jokes, and he said he did okay. Not amazing, but not whatever, he just did okay. And then he says he did that, and then he got off the stage, and he just had that pull, that moment, instant. Never ever thought about comedy before, okay? Had that pull in the moment, and then got off the stage, he was like, okay, well, I guess I did that comedy thing, and he was about to walk out, just walk out, and like, well, I guess I tried that comedy thing, and that was that. And he's walking out of the club, and the club manager goes, hey, you, come here. So, yeah, you passed the audition. He's like, what? What audition? The audition. You can perform here. What? I can perform here? What are you talking about? You can perform here. When? Every night. We're open every night. And he's like, okay. Can you imagine if that manager just hadn't caught him? Like, what a crazy, like, series of events. And what a crazy, like, coincidence of all these different things. And how all these different things happen. And then he tells a story about how he ended up going to comedy nights, open mic comedy nights, like every single night for the next 10 years. Just somewhere, open mic comedy. And he tells a story that a few years later, Eddie Murphy showed up to one of the little clubs, and he walked out, and he runs into Chris Rock and goes, so when are you going on? And Chris is like, oh, I'm not really on tonight, you know. And Eddie Murphy just kind of turns to the manager and goes, put him on next. So Sean's like, alright. And then he gets up there and he does his thing, and then he says off the side of the stage he hears Eddie Murphy's distinctive laugh, like, And he was like, "Oh, I made it. That's it. I made it." And then he said, Eddie Murphy after the show was like, "You want to come to LA? We're filming a movie." And Chris Rock had never been on an airplane. Okay, never been on an airplane in his life. The first time Chris Rock got on an airplane was because Eddie Murphy invited him to come to LA from New York to shoot a movie. And then he got a tiny little scene, and then they put him on a plane back, and then he was back where he was. Just in